This video is about Ursula LeGuin. So let's get started. About 2 hours ago, I heard that Ursula LeGuin has died. Some of my regulars here on this channel will no doubt have realised that I'm a sci-fi fan, and I've read quite a lot of it. But I was always aware that much of it was substandard, both in imagination and in execution. It always seemed to me that if a writer got the plot right, then the background wasn't right, or if they got the tech right, then somehow the society wasn't right. They couldn't seem to get it all at the same time. Even the best failed miserably on one of the elements very often. Yeah, there were alien cultures, but basically many of them were barbaric versions of our own, like the Spice Empire in Dune, just more high-tech. And yes, there were serious discussions about the technology and where we're heading with it, as in Asimov's robot stories. And there were ecological disaster stories like Wyndham's Day of the Triffids, or social commentary like Consider Her Ways. But they were all based in our world, however galactic they were supposed to be. Le Guin's The Left Hand of Darkness is something else altogether. It was the first in which I saw a culture that seemed genuinely alien, fully realised, with a history and a mythology. And then there was the real discussion of contemporary social issues in The Dispossessed, again within the framework of a believable society. And I don't think I've read anything more touching or more thoughtful in a science fiction novel, or indeed this would go for many other conventional novels I've read. Nothing more beautiful, lyrical and tragic as the story within a story that starts Le Guin's first novel, published in 1966, Rocannon's World. In 1968, Playboy magazine published Le Guin's novelette 9 Lives, which was about a group of 9 cloned humans and their connection with each other. The interesting light on this particular publication was that Playboy told Le Guin that her name would appear as UK Le Guin, that is, initials only, so they could hide the female first name. No doubt they were worried their readership wouldn't stand for a female writer in their magazine, at least not one who made any sense. Le Guin said later that she agreed to the name change, not realising until well afterwards how sexist that was. I saw an episode of The Orville which had a similar theme, and I did wonder if the writers had Le Guin in mind when they wrote it. It matters little. Many female authors have disguised their gender in order to sell their books, not just shortening it to initials, but actually adopting male names. You know, the Bronte sisters did it, and Mary Ann Evans, that's George Eliot to you and me. Anyone who bangs on about the patriarchy now, when they have these examples behind them, is an idiot. But the air is populated by idiots, isn't it? The air and the web, rather. Unfortunately, what seems to have happened is that genuinely intelligent women don't get asked to say things. How much have we heard from Le Guin recently? Not much. How often does someone like Germaine Greer or Camille Paglia get invited onto panels to give their opinions? That is, outside a very small, sceptical community. On the other hand, there is any amount of parrotesses fluffing their feathers and squawking the same old regressive slogans so they get paid in the human equivalent of crackers and sunflower seeds for their performances. For those who want to point at the patriarchy, I suggest you look at your media bosses, both female and male, and ask why they invite onto their shows women who would disgrace a school for the educationally challenged, instead of people like LeGuin. Oh, I've just worked it out. It isn't so much fun to have someone talking sense, is it? Rest in peace, Miss LeGuin. You were one of the 20th century's great geniuses, and it was a privilege to have occupied the same timeline as you.